Stuart, Monday after Super Bowl. Oh, I don't know about, is everybody awake this morning? You watched that terrible football game? It was awful. Congratulations,
No.
Seahawks, but it was awful. And speaking of awful, you know what's awful, Stuart? It's just the same crap over and over and over and over and over and over again. Complaining that the U.S. has got no money, complaining about inflation, complaining about spending, complaining. It's just you hear the same noise over and over again. And if the Democrats are running the two houses, then spend, 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 like a drunken sailor, or worse, a teenager with a credit card. I've said that before, I've said it again. And the Republicans come in and they're trying to be, they claim budgetly and fiscally conscious. But at the end of the day, they're still running these crazy deficits. They're still running crazy numbers. And something's got to snap, except nothing but the same rhetoric over and over again by the Democrats. Republicans too, but we're going to focus today on the Dems, people. Because I'm sick and tired of the Democrats deciding that they need to hold you, the American people, hostage. We saw that with respect to ICE, that they decided, you know what, we're gonna teach the president a lesson. We're the ones who are in control. And it's fascinating because you voted for a president. Yeah, and you voted for House and you voted for the Senate, but you as a majority voted for a president. Last time it was Biden, this time it was Trump, and you have a president who wants to run the country in a certain way. And you've got about a couple of hundred Democrats in the House and almost 50 in the Senate going, we're going to control you. We're going to do it our way. And our way is spend, spend, spend. And where does the money go? Let me remind you, 1 year ago, when Doge emerged and all this spending in the most catastrophic of ideologies and businesses and sending money to foreign governments to support LGBTQ ideologies and blah, 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 blah. That's what the Democrats wanted to spend. And they changed the rules to suit them. So when it's nice and convenient, we make one big, beautiful bill. Oh, wait, that was Trump's big, beautiful bill. But they want to make their own big, beautiful bill that's got so many different programs in there that you can't even read through that myriad of pages, Stuart, in that document, right? They put out this book and you're going to read it? Hell no. But the media is going to focus on the 2, 3, 4, 5 things that it's going to really rattle you. Okay? And, the Republicans want to get rid of abortion, and so and that will be the focal point. Although there are 199 other of these dumbass, stupid programs that they want to invest in and spend as if it's again a teenager with a credit card. Stuart, the Democrats have once again shown that they don't want to evolve into 2026. That they're still stuck in a time warp. That they still believe to spend ad nauseum, turning the United States into a socialist country a la Venezuela, a la Cuba, makes more sense than fiscal responsibility. My friend, up to you.
All right. The federal budget process, or should I say the Democrat-led circus catastrophe. Like, I hope you have a coffee, or a shot of vodka, because this is going to make your blood boil. So here we are, February 2026, right? We're right towards the first third of the month. And what are we dealing with? The same tired song, the same dance that we've seen for the Democrats since Bill Clinton. They can't pass a budget. They won't pass a budget. Instead, they're holding the American people hostage, continuing with last-minute spending package and enough political theater to fill Broadway. If you don't know where Broadway is, well, that's where Mandami is. And let me tell you something, he wants to give free tickets. Let me paint a picture of what's happening right now. We've got Senate Majority Leader, Chucky Schumer, AKA Little Chucky, and his team of minions who somehow can't figure out how to do the most basic function, allocating our taxpayer dollars responsibly. Yep. That's not paying Big Bird to teach Lebanese gay people how to do the mambo. Okay, but it's the kicker. They're not even trying to be responsible. You know what drives me crazy? The hypocrisy. Rules for me, not for thee. Blame the other side. They're the ones who are responsible. These are the same people like White House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who spent years screaming about how Republicans were holding the budget hostage. Do you remember? Playing games with our government shutdown. But now, oh, by the way, that's before Doge, that we cleaned up billions of dollars of fat. But now they're fighting to help for their priorities, as if they were elected president of the United States and control the House and the Senate. Suddenly, it's all about protecting critical programs and American values. I'm confused. Democrats, American values, I don't think this exists. I think it's an oxymoron. Let's talk about numbers. I love numbers. You know, guys, I'm a financial advisor. Just for a second, because the numbers don't lie. Even if politicians do, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they can and can't be held accountable. The federal government is running a deficit that would make your head spin. We're talking about trillions with a T. And what the Democrat solution for some people like Bernie Sanders and the Progressive Caucus is spend more, spend more. And here's what really gets under my skin. They act like it's all our fault for wanting accountability. Senator Elizabeth Warren loves to come on TV, little Pocahontas, and talk about we need to spend more on socialized program and debt spirals out of control. Like, remember, she wants to put controls on banks because she wants to take that money and spend it on what? AOC, Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, a.k.a. the anti-Semite in Brooklyn, or sorry, the Bronx. And her squad members like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Presley treat the federal government like a blank check, like the Green New Deal fantasies. Again, who's paying these people? Qatar? I know David likes that one. Let's break down the Democrat playbook because it's the same play over and over again. How about Rosa DeLauro, who chairs the House Appropriation Committee when Democrats are in power? Loves the game. Wait until the last possible minute. Don't start a budget negotiation in good faith ahead of time. Create a crisis. Maybe we win a vote. It makes it very urgent and scary. And again, why do they have to make things urgent and scary? We had a lot of time to work on this. Now let's continue. Patty Murray from the Washington State, who sits on the Senate Appropriations Committee, loading up massive omnibus bills with thousands of pages of spending. It's literally like a phone book. Remember, what was her name? Nancy Pelosi? You've got to vote for it to read what's inside. And the pork goes oink, oink, oink. We saw the infrastructure bill that Nancy Pelosi pushed through when she was speaker. Buried in it were earmarks for projects in districts like Ed Markley, Brian Schatz, and Debbie Sabenow, funding a progressive nonprofit organization. Money for programs that sound nice but accomplish nothing and actually pump money back into the Democratic advertising machine. Pay to play with your money. When the Republicans object, like Adam Schiff and Jamie Raskin, run into the microphone, guys, shut the government down, or not paying our bills. Or Peter Buttigieg over the transportation loves to claim the Republicans cut budgets to hurt infrastructure. Never mind, the department can't account for billions of dollars that were spent. Listen, the real agenda. Let's talk about this. The budget isn't finished. It's only about numbers on a spreadsheet. David, how many numbers do you put on a spreadsheet every week for clients?
Oh, God.
Okay. Look at Elizabeth Warren has been pushing her wealth tax proposal. Look at Bernie Sanders wanting Medicare for all meaning anyone in the United States. They aren't just pushing policy proposals. They're pushing a transformation of American government. And they know it. And they know they can't pass these outrageous things. But again, the more they import, the more society is dependent on government programs, the more they're going to be able to get closer. How about Cory Booker talking about baby bonds, universal basic income pilots? Senators like Sharon Brown and Ralph Warnock push to expand child tax credits that never expire. It's all about dependency. Biden's budget director, Shalanda Young, has been pushing budgets that would make even Obama turn red. And Obama era holdovers, you've got people like John Podesta, White House pushing climate spending. It makes my head spin. La Squad, AOC, social media, Jamala Bowman. They're lost. And before he lost his primary, by the way, he was pushing for trillions of dollars of canceling student debt that Cory Bush wants to defend police and increase federal accounting spending. Okay, David, I've gone on and on and on.
Oh, I've been listening to you, but I got to tell you something.
Richard Blumenthal pushed through funding for gun violence. Christine Gibbard, who paid family leave program. I mean, Jerry Nadler's pushing federal funding for local prosecutor offers for criminal justice. I mean, like, I can't make this up.
No.
How about Maxine Waters from her perch? I mean, I can keep going on and on and on about these people. But what is the solution, Dave?
But I'll tell you something. Here's the crazy thing, is that when you have a reasonable individual, and I just, even on CNN, some of the commentators have said, this isn't working. It's interesting to see that Fareed, I forgot his last, I'm sorry, his name's, forgive me his name. He commented, is that the worst run states right now in the United States, the blue states.
Yep.
Okay. And when you think about it, when you make a comment like that, first of all, I'm surprised he still has a job. Second of all, it's just a reality. We've got to look at what's going on right now and ask ourselves, look, democracy is a mess. We know that. It's not perfect. And after what we watched, I started off by talking about the Super Bowl and how we can't even get together on what's a good Super Bowl halftime show, which is just absolutely insane. You can't get together on how to create a budget for the United States.
Nope.
One wants to spend, one wants to cut. One wants to spend money on programs that are fitting or befitting the socialist agenda for many on the left, more very fringe, to keep those votes in place. And others also, the Republicans also have their own kind of stuff. You got the pro-lifers, and here you got the hardcore abortionists, and they all, the fight, it makes sense. And Stuart, listen, I was in a policy meeting like that in Calgary. I heard when a party's divided. But here's the thing. What doesn't make sense to me is, if you have $1, how do you spend $1.50? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anybody understands borrowing money at a certain point, you'll go bankrupt. Yep. And the United States is teetering on bankruptcy. You see the way the world is trying to come after the United States, even before Trump. Don't give me this that it's Trump has caused all this array. Go back to Obama days and what he's done in his fiscal policies, and look how China and Russia and others have pivoted to try to disrupt the United States economy. Guys, sensible is funny, because if you sit down and you think about it in your home, right? If you said, okay, listen, I have a budget, I make X, I can only spend X minus so I can save a little bit of money. No, but what the United States government does is it makes X and it spends 3X. It doesn't make a lot of sense. At a certain point, you break and you snap. And if you look at the tallies of what now the current debt is, it's insane. Pierre Poilievre here in Canada, Stuart, announced as part of his election campaign that for every dollar program you want to create, you got to find $1 of savings. And everybody said, what a phenomenal idea.
Wow.
What a sensible idea. Huh? And the left said, are you crazy? We don't do that. We need to spend to get out of this rut. Now, I understand in an inflationary time, I get what you want to do with the fiscal policy. Spending more than you have has never worked. Now, if you want to invest because there's a long-term, gain, I got it. You borrow, you pay back, you gain, there's an ROI. That's what investment is all about. But instead, what we find here in your country, my country, by these left-leaning governments is spend, and we'll just continue to tax the rich, and we'll continue to come up with crazier policies, and we'll continue to, because it'll convince the electorate that we'll get elected. Stuart, I got to tell you, there's a movement going on right now, and you see it more and more, especially with younger people. And I know that the left likes to say, look at us on all these college campuses. We're dominating college campuses. And you do dominate. In the classroom, your professors are dominating. The deans are dominating. But there's a pushback. There's a pushback because these kids today are saying, wait a minute. Housing prices are through the roof. I can't afford a home. I don't have a job. And you can blame Trump because it's easy. But this isn't Trump, folks. This is not Trump's policies. Your economics of today are from the previous administration. Biden took a victory lap in his term, and he says, it was all me. And Trump went, no, those are my economic policies that are there that you're reaping the benefit from. And we're reaping the benefits today, and I put that in quotations, from the Biden administration. Guys, the reality is that whatever budget we're passing today is for the future. It's not for today. And the impact of borrowing all that money is going to hurt us down the road. Us, meaning you and me and so many other countries that continue to borrow thinking it's unlimited. You can't print more money, people. You print more money, you devalue the value of your money. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simple economics 101. But your Democrats want to convince you that spend. Because if you spend, you get more. Really? Look at the blue states and the blue cities that have that philosophy and tell me how you're doing right now. You can't pick up the garbage or clean up the snow in New York. Spend. Come on.
Listen.
That's what the Dems want.
Bernie Sanders called Republicans oligarchy while he spends how much money? $500,000 on flying private. Okay. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries criticized Republicans for abandoning the bipartisan deal. Democrats accused the Republicans for walking away from agreements after Elon Musk eviscerated their spending. Okay. David, the fact of the matter is Democrats criticize Republicans for lack of extending the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
They about for cutting Medicaid, Medicare. David, my prescriptions have gone down in price.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I know people who were sold on. In all fairness, I know people on the ACA who are pained right now. And this is what I told them. I said, hold on a second. Remember, the government told the insurance companies, make it better. You sent it to the private sector. The government didn't help you. In Canada, the government subsidizes it from our tax dollars, all of the healthcare. You want what we have, people? No problem. You'll wait 6 months for an MRI. You'll wait 12 months to see a specialist. Just be careful what you ask and wish for. Careful what you ask and wish for. Stuart, wrap it up, my friend.
There you go. It's wrapped.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Watch what goes on, folks, in the House and the Senate when it comes up to this budget vote. It is a circus and a half. Take care, everyone. Catch you on Wednesday.